Here we'll learn a few basic things about the vine plant. I'll be more specific in the next slide. We will learn here how to name the different parts of the vine. We will be able to identify these parts, and we will relate the different parts of the plant Vitis vinifera to the sensory sensations that the wine made from them produces. As for grammar, plurals in English, and we'll also learn about other European languages vocabulary for grape-related terms. So, in this picture you can see the leaves, the stalk, and a full cluster of grapes. Note how the plural of the word leaf is leaves. You can also see how the surface of the berries is covered by a velvety-like substance. This whitish velvety cover contains something important. That's the yeast. This substance later on will be responsible for the fermentation of the juices that come off the crushed berries. The yeast is formed by the microorganisms that live in the skin of the grapes. The yeast is responsible for many other fermentation processes. For example, yeast transforms milk into cheese or grape juice into wine, but we'll learn more about that in the next unit. Now, in these slides, we'll learn the different parts of the berry from the inside. First, note that the generic English term for those small round fruits is berry. That is, the grape is one type of berry. Now, let's look at the berry from the inside. All these parts will have a different role in the production of wine. For example, the dark skin of the grape will be responsible for different shades of red or different shades of purple in the red wine color. When the grapes are crushed, the juice, together with the pulp, skin and seed, will form the must. The must will go different types of fermentation and manipulation until it is turned into wine. We'll learn about it in the next unit. Now, we're going to get familiar with new words. For example, Vitis vinifera is a Latin term for the type of vine plant that's good for making wine. Latin terms are used in biology to name botanical spices. So the term Vitis vinifera is the generic term for the vine plant. Notice how languages that come from Latin, for example, Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese, those languages retain the root of the word. For example, in Spanish, the word is vid. In French, is viña. In Italian, is viti. And in Portuguese, is videira. These languages, as you can see, retain the Latin root of the word. Now, let's revise together a few things. For example, the terms grape and raisin. In English, the word grape refers to the fruit of the vine plant. This fruit comes in the form of groups of berries, as we have seen. These groups of berries form clusters. We've seen that in a couple of slides before now. And let's see how languages that come from Latin, such as, for example, Spanish, the word grape is not raisin, it's uva. In Italian, it's called also uva, and in Portuguese, it's called uva as well. It's interesting to see how most languages derived from Latin sometimes keep the root of the word and sometimes gives it a different meaning. We'll see more of that later on. Now, let's revise a few things that we've learned here. First of all, the vineyard is the place where the vine plant grows. Grapes come in clusters in the vine plant. There are different pronunciation and spelling for the words vineyard and vineyard. Excuse me. The yeast is a microorganism, we'll also learn this, that helps fermentation. We'll see more of that later on. And the other word that is interesting to learn is the word grafting, which is a cutting technique used to produce better grapes. And as for the references, we have the volume by Marianne Baldi that we are using all the time. That's the University Wine course, published in the USA by the Wine Appreciation Guild. There's also the course book, an English course book, The Language of Wines, published by me as editor with Raquel Varela and a few more other contributors. And then another reference comes from Tom Canavan's web page. And that's all for the moment. Thanks for watching.